These are all of the best and working exploits that have made it to Season 13, and I'm going to cover what they are, what's changed about them, and the basics of actually doing them. Before we get started, I am currently trying to make it to 10,000 subscribers, and we are so close, so if you could help me get there, that would mean a lot to me, and thank you guys so much for watching. Getting straight into it, this glitch, yes, I'm also covering the glitches. This glitch, while it does work, seems much more random than I previously thought it was, which I'm thankful that you guys pointed out to me because that was kind of the point of the video. The point of the video was that I would post it with my ideas on it and you guys would give me feedback and we could figure out if it was an exploit, a glitch, or something that we couldn't even control. This quest does still drop the extra amount of items, but it is pretty random, and while it does seem like revoting can increase your chances of higher loot, it feels pretty random. So just be aware that it might not be working as crazy as we originally thought, but like I said, that was kind of the point of the video, was this is a test. It's something that I think might work and it might not, and it's okay that it didn't. If you don't know how to do it, I'll give a basic description, but if you want a full detail, all the videos that I'm covering will be linked in the description below. For this glitch, all you really have to do is do a Legend of the Veil, and for some reason at the end of it you get extra loot. Now whether revoting or not is changing anything, when you finish it, for some reason lately they've been giving a ton of extra loot, and it's not a set amount. For some reason sometimes people get 1 piece of extra loot, sometimes people get like 25 pieces of extra loot. So if you do Legend of the Veil and finish them, just make sure that you get those double stacks if you can, and maybe try revoting and not, and see, or maybe try revoting and see if it does raise the amount that you get. Next up is actually a 2-piece of a video. And in these 2 videos, if you aren't familiar with these videos, they are both ways to buy more commodities. One is a way that you do it with 2 or more people, and one is a way that you do it solo. But either way, you are allowed to buy more commodities than you are supposed to be able to, which allows you to make more profit per trip. You achieve this by knocking either a teammate or yourself, whichever person's buying, and obviously if you're solo, it's going to be yourself, out of place or out of range of the merchant's inventory. So that person's going to be the buyer. Like I said, that can be yourself if you're solo, or it can be your teammate. And you need to do that while they're already in the inventory, ready to buy the commodities. Now, to do this solo, you just have to throw the blunder bomb in the air. To do it duo, obviously you can throw the blunder bomb at each other, or I have a few other methods that you guys pointed out to me that make this a little bit better, but I'll get to that. As far as the solo version, nothing has really changed. I didn't post it that long ago, and they didn't seem to really care about changing it for Season 13, so we still have it. It's nice. But for the duo one, as it's a little bit older, it is been slightly changed since I uploaded it. First, it has been brought to my attention by many people that you can do things like blocking the side of the trader with another crate, or blowing them away with a 1-ball, or pushing them away with the wind horn, doing different things like that, rather than wasting blunder bombs, which are kind of expensive, and make this exploit much better, much quicker, much more repeatable, and much more profitable. Unfortunately, this exploit has a different buy inventory, kind of like we saw in the solo one. It doesn't have the original one that we saw when I posted the video, even when you're doing it with multiple people. So while it isn't as profitable as before, it's still pretty profitable, and doing it with multiple people is still going to be the best way to do it. But if you're only solo, it is technically possible. Next up is the Crooked Mass Medley exploit. This exploit consists of repeat voting medley voyages for gold hoarders. Once you get the vault piece that you can determine is there by using the compass, you can dig it up and you can determine if the key is on Crooked Mass or if it's not. Hopefully by the 1 piece that you got. You know, you might not be able to, sometimes it's just ocean piece, but that was the idea. And then you can just go around the island and randomly dig, and it's a pretty small island for doing this, so you can just grab the key like that. You don't actually have to get the X on the map. Now, this exploit still has a slight purpose, but it's been nerfed pretty substantially. While it's still possible to get the key on Crooked Masts, it went from around a 50% chance to about a 5% chance, and sometimes even less in some cases, which makes the key part of this exploit pretty useless. However, there is still a good chance to get repeat dig maps on this island, and there is still about a 95% chance that the map piece spawns on this island, which means that you still have the chance for extra loot from killing the skeletons and from digging up the map piece, and you still have the chance to dig up from the actual dig maps if you are lucky enough to get them. Now, this exploit is barely worth doing, but it does still exist in Season 13, and don't worry, there will be a replacement for it soon. Perhaps that video is already in the works, but it's not out now, so right now, if you need to level gold hoarders, I'm going to give you this one and a few other options, and they're all not that great, but you can pick between them as they are are still better than most of the conventional leveling methods. Next up in the list of exploits that made it to Season 13 is the Ship Manifest exploit. While some people were having problems finding the manifest, I tried this one 3 times and had no problems getting any of them. They were all very quick, very easy to find, and this exploit is still very easy to do. If you are unfamiliar with this exploit, it involves guessing where the end of a lost shipment is by sitting in a certain spot. That spot is east of Plunder Outpost, but I'm sure you can do it in different areas too. Once you do that, you look for the birds and you can go there, and that's the small cloud of birds is always where the end of the ship is, always where the end of the lost shipment is, and you can grab the manifest without ever having the key. You just can't get the actual cargo hold. So you can get this manifest in about 5 minutes rather than the hour it could take you. Once again, all video links are in the description if you want more detail or instruction on how to actually do the exploit, but I can confirm that this exploit does still work in Season 13 very easily, no problems, nothing has really changed with it. Next up is the Ashen Loot Vault exploit. This exploit is very similar to the one on Crooked Masts, and it involves repeating vault quests, digging up the map piece, killing the skeletons for a chance at the loot, and then taking that loot and stacking a ton of it. Except this one takes place in the Devil's Roar, providing slightly more profit and slightly more danger and annoyance. And this exploit does still work as of the beginning of Season 13, so if you are looking for a short-term replacement for the Medley exploit and other gold holder exploits, this might be the move, but like I said, there may or may not be more coming. Next up is an exploit that should have been classified as a glitch, but we didn't have that system yet, so apologies, but we still can talk about it. Either way, this exploit allowed you to take loot from one session to another session as long as you were still in the same playtime, so you didn't log out of the game. You can do this by going and taking your loot to the mermaid statues in the shrines or treasuries and then going back to them on another server, and the claim is still there. You can still just go grab everything like you would if you were on the same server. This exploit, while it does not have much monetary use, does still work, and if you need to get things from session to session, this is pretty much your only option. Now, there's also another vault exploit, which I'm not going to talk too much about because it's very similar to the Ashen one that I already mentioned, and it's pretty much the same story. It works on almost any island though, and as a lot of you guys have said, it works on the really small islands up in the Shores of the Plenty area, so, and pretty much anywhere around the map. So if you want to find a small island, vote up some vault quests and kill the skeletons, literally any island that you can get the compass to go to regularly and involves killing the vault skeletons, you can do that with. So that exploit is pretty much wide range over the entire map, pretty versatile. You can do it pretty much anywhere, but it's pretty similar to the ones we've already talked about. And yes, they all still work as well. And last but not least is quite a bit of an older exploit. I'm very surprised this one hasn't been patched yet, and it's very useful. It's the Skull of Destiny exploit. This exploit allows you to get unlimited Skulls of Destiny from one island and by diving to one single island. You dive to the island, you dive to the Skull of Destiny quest, and then after finishing it, you just spam the quest until you get it on the same island. And it normally does not take long. When I was testing this, I didn't get any that weren't on the same island, so it's very quick to do. Now, while these themselves are not worth a lot, the ability to fuel Fort of the Damned stacks massively and very quickly makes it a really good exploit if you use it right. And this exploit is still just as easy to do as before. Nothing has changed with it. If anything, it honestly seems like it's gotten easier to do. It seems like it was popping up more often. So if you're wanting to stack Fort of the Damned, and you go check out that video if you don't already know about it, or if you can't figure it out from what I just told you, but that is one of the best things you can do for stacking Fort of the Damned. And these are just the exploits that are still working from previous seasons. So don't worry, guys. Replacement ones, full new ones are on the way, and I'm sure we'll find more as the season goes on with the new content and with the old content that's been in the game. We're just going to find different stuff as different updates come out. But for now, if there are any that you think I missed, please be sure to let me know in the comments below, and let me know if there are any exploits that you know that I haven't covered yet and you'd like me to cover or anything like that. Please let me know. I will do it, and that stuff always helps me out a ton. As I said at the beginning of the video, I'm currently trying to make it to 10,000 subscribers, and we are so close. So if you guys could help me get there, that would mean a lot to me. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I do truly hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.